Today I'm gonna talk about my Hobonichi Weeks setup. So this is the 2025 Weeks manga in the bow and tie cherry cover, and I have it in the cover and cover. So I use this as my on-the-go planner, book, whatever. Basically, whatever I might need, I'll just pop it on here. When I'm on the go, because my main book is The Cousin, and obviously it's very big, so not very convenient to carry with me. So that's what I have this for. I use it as a wallet, so I actually have my card here. The cover and cover has a pocket, if you're not familiar. So I have my most used card there, because I also have like a small wallet that I carry with me, but I just keep the one I most use in here. And I slip all of my receipts into this pocket. So this doesn't usually hang out here. This is just the cover of my card. But yeah. If you're not familiar, my main book is very functional, so it's not very decorated, and neither is this. So it's pretty plain. And starting from the yearly calendar, as you can see, I haven't put anything on there, and that's because I actually do need to refer to, dates from last year, next year, and of course this year. So I keep that, clean, so that I can find whatever dates I need to quickly and easily. I still am thinking about what I might use this for, because usually in my yearly calendars I mark some personal dates, but I don't want to have any duplicate information between this book and my cousin. I don't need to do that, so I won't do it. So I won't do it. But if there is something else that I need to track or to mark, that I need to refer to when I'm on the go, I will do that. But so far, nothing. I use this, I don't know what this is called, a yearly index maybe, but I use it to track my project, which I'll get more into when we get to the actual weekly spreads, so I'll get back to this. And in the monthly, I use it basically in a very similar way as I use the monthly in The Cousin as a calendar. So I have all of my events and appointments, and the way I use this is I only note down the events and appointments that are kind of set in stone, like I know will actually happen, as the month progresses. Because the idea is that when I'm out and about and I actually need to schedule something, or I need to check my availability, I need that information on hand, and that's what this is. Because last year, for example, I don't put those things in my phone. It's just in my cousin, and a lot of the times, of course, I don't have my cousin with me when I'm out and about. So that's kind of the problem this is supposed to solve. But also with my cousin, it's a lot of planning. So even with tentative dates, I still have them on there. I use it to plan, But here, because of the limited space, I guess, but also just because of the way I'm using it, I only want to note down definitive dates, or definitive events. So I know when I am available to schedule something in, or to pencil something in. So that's what this is. And when I do pencil something in, if it is for sure, obviously I'll just pop that on here. But if it's not, I'll put it in the weekly spread, and to kind of migrate into The Cousin to plan, if that makes sense. Not to duplicate that information, but that's kind of just how the system functions. This isn't really where I would note down upcoming tentative events. This is what is set in stone. I hope that makes some sense. If I haven't said it yet, this is supposed to be working in one system with The Cousin, so it's not again, it's not to duplicate information. It's the same system, and that's how it works. That's why if I want to pencil something in, I put it in the weekly to use to plan in The Cousin, which is where I plan. And the point is, I need this monthly to be super reliable. Is still long story short. And at the end of the month, so for example, this is December, and this is the actual current month. As you can see, it's pretty empty because I don't have any for sure plans yet for January. I have some tentative plans that is yet to be confirmed. So I haven't put it on here, and they're very up. They don't have like specific dates yet. That's what I'm trying to say. So I don't have it on here. But at the end of the month, I go back and copy in basically what I have in the cousin, because even when I'm out and about, sometimes I do need that information, like when I last made a certain appointment, when I last paid a certain bill. So that's all here. And in my cousin monthly, I have, books I started and finished, and that's not really what this is for, so I don't copy that in. It's just for events, appointments, bills paid. And I do also have birthdays, because sometimes that is important to keep in mind when I'm trying to schedule something. If I know that actually that's like a family member's birthday or a friend's birthday, or, my own. But yeah, that's what I have. So at the end of the month, I fill this in, though obviously in practice, those additional items that I'll add at the end of the month probably won't be that many. As the month progresses, I'll just definitely fill that in as I go. And of course, whatever plans that are tentative probably will be confirmed like a week in advance or whatever, and I'll note that down when that happens. So it's difficult to maybe show that since we're so early into January, but that is how that works. So on the sidebar, I actually have my shopping list. So one of the main things that I need a book for when I'm on the go is for grocery shopping. I'm just very specific with my shopping lists, and I can't just kind of have it in my head. I need a list with specific items and quantities and whatnot. So anyway, I have my shopping list that I add to as the month progresses here on the sidebar with a little checkbox. And then when I actually go out grocery shopping, of course, if I purchase it, I check it off. But that's what is on the sidebar. So for example, in January, I already have a few items that I know I'll need to pick up when I do my monthly visit to the store. So that's what that is. I did toy around with the idea of doing little charts on the bottom. I've seen people do these really cute charts on the weeks, and I really want to do them, but I've yet to do that. I don't know if I will. I don't know what purpose it would have for me personally. But I did think about doing like an expense chart or something, but honestly, my main book is already very full of budgeting and expenses, and maybe I don't want that here now that I think about it. But yeah, that's what my monthly is for. I will say for my grocery shopping, I usually do kind of an extensive list with like what I want, what I should actually get. I give it a lot of thought. So when I'm actually out and about, or like when I'm actually at the store, this won't be the list that I'm working with. What I will be doing is using this list to actually make my final grocery list that I will be putting here in the notes pages as like a proper spread with like the actual quantities, items, etc. Sometimes I put down like the meals that I mean to make with those items next to the items itself, like a little meal planning kind of thing. It's a very involved. It's too much really, but it's what I do to grocery shop. But yeah, let's actually go to the weekly pages. So this is where I will talk about how I'm using the weekly to work on my projects. So I have mentioned a couple times that I kind of stagnated on a lot of my projects last year, and a lot of it is to do with just life. But I will say, in my previous cousin, the idea of flipping back to my project section and sitting down and actually working on it sometimes can feel a little intimidating. The idea is that I was supposed to be able to jot down, notes and whatever else really quickly if I just like flip over. But something about flipping to the back to the project section specifically kind of cemented that, like, oh yeah, it's time to like work or something. And I wasn't very motivated to do that. And all that to say, the point of this week's, or part of it, aside from my weird grocery shopping habits, is to make a habit out of working on my projects every day. So each day I want to at least fill out this little section. And just to give you a better idea, the project that I'm working on here is a writing project. So if I can just write this a little bit every single day, or this little bit, I guess, every single day, that is better than nothing. So that's what this is for, how the weekly works. I have talked about how the horizontal weeklies don't really work for me planning wise, and that's true, and that's why I'm not even attempting that for my weeks, and also because I don't need to, because I'm in a cousin. So this is to make sure I write every day, just this little section, and obviously more likely than not I will need more than this little bit. If I've started, I'll probably just keep going, so I will overflow onto this right section, this notes page on the right. And I don't like overflow to the next day because I want to keep it blank so that the next day I will have to write to fill that in. So if I overflow to the right here and I still need more space, which I inevitably do, I put a little arrow or like a chevron sign and I continue in the notes page. For example, here, I just put down the date that it's from. For example, this is 1/4. So it's continued off from here. And I continue my notes and or writing. And I got this book towards the end of December, but it does start like in December, I think. Yeah. Starts on the 25th of November. So I actually backfilled is a weird word for this, but I just fill it in with my writing, at the same time testing the paper, testing the pen, because I do use the Hobonichi pen. This is the Uni Jetstream ballpoint. I think in 0.3. It's very fine, which I'm not used to. I don't know if I like it. I do like it. I just don't know if I'll switch to like a 0.5 when I refill it or something. But that is what I use. So yeah, I just wrote here just to test out the writing experience, like the physical writing experience. And that's what this is. And I, again, mark off like these little sections because I think I was just trying out how they will look, since it doesn't really matter here when I was like quote unquote backfilling, since I just kept overflowing into the next days, to the following days. But yeah, the different colors are just different notes, I guess. They make sense in my head. But I honestly, I don't know how to explain how the colors work. They're just supposed to make it easier for me to find certain notes, basically. But most of them is in black. So the right side of the page is also for any notes I need to take when I'm out and about, like unrelated to my project. If I have a thing I need to do or to schedule, like I mentioned earlier, I'll just put it down here, obviously in the current week that I'm on. And I don't really worry about like that taking up space or whatever, because if for example, that took up space on the right here, then whatever I write on the 23rd will just stop here, and then I could put an arrow and continue that in the notes pages. But yeah, for example, I had to do something came up last week that I had to do, and I noted that down here. And the way it works is, again, this works in conjunction with my cousin. So I actually use the same like categories that I have in my weekly section. If you're not familiar with that, definitely check out my Hobonichi cousin functional planning setup system. It's the video before this one, I think. But so I put a circle for the open task, and then I put the letter that denotes what category it is. For example, M for miscellaneous, or C for correspondence, or the project name, the first letter of the project name, if that's what it is. And then sometimes these items will need to be migrated into the cousin, just because I put that down to do that, to remember to, plan that in the cousin, or to do it later in the week or something. So I put a chevron sign when I move it into the cousin. And that basically means I can disregard this whole item after I've moved it. After I put the chevron sign on. But sometimes I manage to do it before I get home and migrate it to the cousin, and so I just fill it in right there. Sometimes I cancel a task or event and I just put a line through the circle. Sometimes it's things I need to schedule in, so instead of a to do, it's a date, and then I put the item, and then when I've migrated it, or actually written it down in the cousin, I put a chevron sign again. I hope that makes sense. Honestly, there's not a lot that comes up when I'm out and about, but it's not a nothing either. I used to just put it in my phone or something, but they always get lost. I never actually open the notes app or whatever on my phone where I've left the note, or the appointment or event or whatever. So this is super useful, even though in reality it's only a few items each week. But it's better this than lost in the void that is my notes app. And of course, when I don't have items or events or whatever that pop up when I'm out, I use the section for more writing, more space to write. So this has honestly been working quite well for me. The weeks is a dream to write in. It's the same paper, obviously, as the cousin, but I don't know what it is, something about maybe the thickness or something, but that doesn't make any sense because the cousin is also very thick, but it's really nice to write in. So I've been really enjoying my time here, and I've been writing every day so far. So that is what I use this tracker for. This is to track my writing. If I write every day, I fill it in with a purple Tombow if I did. I'm hoping that this year will look pretty purple. But so far so good. It is the 4th and I did write today, but I haven't filled it in because usually I open this up in the morning when I have my me time and I fill in all the things that I need to, and it's really nice. But yeah, this is how it works. And I'm really enjoying myself. So for the notes pages, this is the mega, so it has 200 something notes pages, I think. And again, because I am using this for projects and especially writing projects, so I need to do a lot of long form writing. I went with the mega because I knew that I needed a lot of pages. I've never really flourished in thin books, small books. So one of my biggest concerns with getting the weeks before this was how little space it has, or how few notes pages it has. But obviously the mega is better than the standard for my use. So I haven't quite used this section, but I think I'll track what projects I finish. I think that'll be really nice, maybe really motivating. And yeah, since that is kind of the main intention with this book, I have reference notes. So this notes section isn't just for my overflow notes and my extensive grocery list. It is just for any notes that I need to take when I'm out and about. So I have my reference notes that I always keep in all of my books. And I also have this grid layout guide inspired by Rocky Paper Scissors Co. I think it's the name of her channel. So that when I need to set up the notes pages, like set up a layout in the notes pages, I can refer to this instead of counting out all the boxes, which is always exasperating. And then I have some reference information for projects I have this year that I won't be sharing. And then this is where I am currently with my overflow writing notes from the week's pages. Yeah. In the back, the Weeks does have back pages like the cousin does, but this is the Japanese edition, which I think has fewer back pages, if I'm not mistaken. I know the English edition has a favorites page and this one does not, but it does have my 100, and I use this as an index. Like I said, because the notes pages is for whatever I need it to be. I will index the stuff I need to refer back to here, so I don't index every page the way that I do in the cousin, because, you know, like with my overflow writing notes, or just my writing notes in general, I don't need to index that. That'll probably be the bulk of the notes pages, but for whatever else comes up that I need to find amongst my project notes, I will index them here. And in the checkboxes where you usually put a check mark, I put the page number. So that's what I use this for. And the doodle page, I think is what it's called. I talked about this when I talked about my cousin, but I kind of want to use this as an activities to do / log kind of thing. For example, there's a microphone and a spotlight, so if I go to a concert, I fill that in, color that in. I think that'll be really cute. I don't think it'll be like a duplicate of what blog I've done in the cousin, but like more like a continuation. So I think that'll be really cute, but I don't know where I would note down like what doodle means what. I mean, I can easily do that like in the notes pages, but yeah, it's a cute idea. I want to do it. I don't know that I will. I'll definitely keep you posted on that. And then more pages that I can't read, but are very cute. In the back, there are the addresses and a personal information page where I have actual personal information, so I won't be sharing that. But in the back here, I have cash. I have this like piece of paper here to cover it up, not just for the video, but I was out and about, my cash like tucked in here without the piece of paper, and I felt really weird about it. I didn't like that you could just see it through the clear covers, so I decided to also tuck in this piece of paper here. And I also have some used post-its that I've tucked here. I kind of just pasted them onto the paper and then I tuck it in, just for whenever I need them. They're used, they're just to keep my place if I need a post-it. But yeah, as you can see here, I actually drew lines on the left side, and that's because when I was first using this, I used my pencil board to kind of make sure that I'm writing in a straight line. It wasn't like that bad, but it would be easier if the left side just had lines. So I started just drawing lines using, again, the pencil board to carry the lines over from the right side. Honestly, did not take that long a time, did not take that much effort. I figured I can just do that every time I set up the week. It takes like 5 to 10 minutes, if that. But I will say, I think I just like was watching a bunch of planner videos and I ended up drawing these lines up to like March, so I'm all set for like a couple months. But yeah, this works really well, makes it really easy to write on the left side, especially because I'm doing long form writing. This is great. I'm really enjoying it. And I also use the bookmarks. I know a lot of people, I think, cut them out, but they're really useful for me. So the gray bookmark, or the first bookmark, is for where I am in the weeks. And then the black bookmark is for where I am in the notes pages. And I really want to use like charms at the end of these bookmarks. I think that'll be really cute, and also weigh them down very lightly. But I don't have any charms. So we'll see if I do that. I mean, I like it as well. I also use this tab that is part of the clear cover to keep my place in the monthly, and honestly I love it a lot. I was really skeptical about it at first because I felt like it'll probably just slip out, especially when you're farther into the book, but it keeps my place like really well. So now it's really nice. Every time I open this book, immediately on the January page, magical. Yeah, like I said, I'm enjoying this a lot. And I'm looking forward to seeing how the weeks fills out. Let me know if you are also in the weeks or what planner you're in this year. I love seeing other people's systems, so definitely share and let me know if you have any questions, if anything is unclear. And that's all for my weeks 2025. Thank you so much for watching.